The chainsaw is a very valuable tool that the construction craft laborer uses on a regular basis. Like any tool, and this is especially true of power tools, the chainsaw operates most safely and efficiently when it is properly maintained. Your saw should be equipped with a sharp blade that is properly tensioned. If the chain blade is dull or improperly tensioned, the saw won't cut properly and it will slow down production. A dull or loose blade can also cause you to force the saw into the cut, which is a very unsafe practice. In order for the saw to function properly and safely, it's important that the chain be kept at the proper tension. Loose chains mean trouble. When the chain is too loose, it can cause the bar to wear excessively. If that happens, the saw won't operate effectively. Worse than that, a loose chain can fly off the bar, creating a very dangerous situation. To check the tension of the chain, make sure the bottom of the chain links and cutters barely touch the bottom of the bar at the center of the bar. If they don't touch the bar, the chain needs to be tightened. Another way to check proper tension of the chain is to pull up on the chain at the center of the bar. When you lift the chain, you should not be able to see the bottom of the drive links. If the bottom of the drive links are visible, tighten the chain. But be careful when tightening. If the chain is too tight, it can damage the drive and bar nose sprockets. After you have properly tensioned the chain, pull it around the bar by hand to ensure it is properly mounted on the bar and sprocket. Don't ever handle a chainsaw blade with your bare hands. Wear gloves and exercise extreme caution. Chainsaw cutting edges are very sharp. Make sure you have the proper tools for the job. Check that you have the right file for the job. The chainsaw's operating manual should list a recommended file for this particular model of saw. For this job, you will need a file holder, a filing gauge, a flat file, a round file, and a bar-mounted file guide. Cutters have a 45-degree top plate for your filing angle. For each stroke, push the file through the cutter from the inside to the outside. When filing, apply pressure only on the forward stroke. It is important to use the same amount of pressure and the same number of strokes on each cutter. Sharpen all the cutters on one side of the chain and then move to the other side of the bar to file all the cutters on the other side of the chain. Most manufacturers recommend that all cutters be filed at or near the same place at the top of the bar. After you have sharpened 3 or 4 cutters, move the chain along the bar until the next series of cutters are in the same position on the bar. Remember to rotate the file during the sharpening process. When sharpening cutters, place the round file in the file holder. Align the mark on the file holder parallel to the chain. This will give you the correct filing angles. Press the holder firmly against the top of the cutter. Keep the holder level and count the number of strokes used on the first cutter. Check the cutter for sharpness. If the cutter is sharp, take the same number of strokes needed to sharpen the first cutter using the same pressure. A chain sharpened at the correct angle will feed itself into the wood. After filing the cutters, check the depth gauges. Depth gauges are the parts of the chain that control the amount of wood the cutter removes. To file the depth gauges, first adjust them by placing them on a cutter. The tool will show you how much to file. Using the flat file, file the depth gauge level. After filing to the correct depth, round off the front edge of the raker using the flat file. Repeat this process until all of the depth gauges are correctly lowered. The chain and its cutting components are not the only pieces of the chainsaw that need to be maintained. The chainsaw bar also requires maintenance. First, remove the bar and chain. Check the bar for wear and damage, such as cracks, worn rails, and burrs on the edges. The side of the bar you use the most often, normally the bottom side, will tend to wear faster than the top side of the bar. Next, check the nose sprocket for wear and damage. If the tip of the bar has turned blue, or the nose sprocket has spread apart, these are telltale signs of damage. If you see these signs, replace the bar immediately. Clean the bar groove of oil and sawdust. This kind of buildup can gum up and fill the groove. Clean out oiler holes. During your weekly maintenance checks, remove any burrs that may have formed. To do this, remove the bar from the saw. Hold the bar horizontally, and then file the burrs with a flat file. Check the bar groove depth. The operator's manual will list the correct groove depths. Check to see if the bar is being lubricated. Lubricate the bar nose. Consult the operator's manual for lubrication recommendation. The bar nose will usually have holes in it for injecting grease into the sprocket. Insert your grease gun into the hole and pump it until you see grease coming out around the sprocket. Be sure to use a good quality lithium-based grease. When you are finished lubricating, reinstall the bar. To extend the life of the bar, install the bar with the opposite side now at the top. The bottom of the bar is now the top. The chainsaw sprocket is another component that should not be overlooked. Never install a new chain onto a worn or damaged sprocket. A worn sprocket will damage the chain very quickly. When working with a chainsaw, remember, this powerful tool may expose you to several potential hazards. The best way to protect yourself is to always wear the proper personal protective equipment. Turn the chainsaw off when transporting it, even for short distances. And make sure your saw is in the best possible condition. Inspect the chainsaw for damage and worn parts before each use. Inspect the gear or drive sprocket, especially when installing the chain. Make sure the gear or drive sprocket is lined up properly. Keep the chain sharp, the gear sprocket, and the bar nose sprocket. Keep the guide bar rails in good condition. Lubricate the guide bar nose if it is a sprocket type. The chainsaw is a versatile tool that can provide many years of dependable use if properly maintained and operated. When operating this power tool, remember, safety first.